names and new players making their way to the top of the leaderboard. 11th, McMurray, then Casey Kane, Alex Bowman, and Matt DiBenedetto. Matt right now running 14th. And Jeffrey Earnhardt right now set to go from 15th.
Green flag waves again at the World Center of Racing. We are underway. William Byron and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. side by side. Byron breaks away momentarily, but now Stenhouse is even with him again.
Ricky Stenhouse puts a fender back to the inside. He'll try and make the challenge. Not going to be able to get it done, though. Byron gets away in the outside lane. Here's the battle now for second place. Ricky Stenhouse downstairs in the Ford. Top side, Kyle Busch in the Toyota.
And just outside of the top 10, here comes Michael McDowell flying around the outside, going to stack them up. 3 wide. Up front, you've got Byron the leader, and they're still wheel to wheel for position number 2.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to the inside and Kyle Busch to the high side. That's the ongoing battle for second. Ryan Newman would love to get a piece of this, but runs out of racetrack at the bottom.
The top 3 cars, one of them a Chevrolet, that is William Byron, and the race leader. Behind them a Ford and a Toyota. The Ford downstairs, that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The Toyota topside, that's Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch trying to get the job done up high, puts a fender up now on Stenhouse, but Ricky's strong down in that bottom lane. He's also got some good drafting help down there. They'll remain side by side and wheel to wheel for the number 2 spot.
Kyle Busch leading the outside charge. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. to his left elbow. Stenhouse needs a little more drafting help. He's only got Newman and Chris Buescher lined up behind him. Kyle Busch has at least a half dozen more.
Here's Kyle now. Once again, works the middle lanes coming through turn number 4. In the meantime, William Byron with the lead. He stays planted down low.
And one car in the back right now just rocketing to the front is Kevin Harvick. If you remember a couple laps ago, he was on pit road putting hoses on the right front ventilation system. He started tailback, and now that car is going to the front. He has no damage on it. He's in great shape now, guys.
Harvick moving up. Also Michael McDowell, who was in the top 5 earlier. Remember, he came in early to make a pit stop. Suddenly McDowell back in the mix. He's running in 6th as the lead draft heads for turn 3.
Michael McDowell back in the mix. He is trying to find his way through and get back to the point. He's got a lot of heavy lifting to do as it still continues to be William Byron under fire for the lead.
Here comes Kyle Busch. Tries to race his way up to the outside. There's contact. Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. make contact coming through turn number 4. Trevor Bayne now piles into the back of the Kyle Busch machine. More cars spinning. Kyle Larson tries to take evasive actions, jumps onto the brakes as everything breaks loose off turn 4.
Kyle Busch, William Byron, Jamie McMurray, among others that were just called out by Kurt Becker. Back to that in just a moment. Caution flag number 4 coming out on lap 64. Kurt, I gave you long enough to catch your breath. What'd you see?
Well, coming back into the corner here on the east end of the racetrack, Jeff, it was William Byron with the lead. He had been working down toward the bottom side of the track, and then here came Kyle Busch to the outside trying to make a run for the top spot. And then all of a sudden, Busch made contact with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They got together, somehow managed to clip Byron. They all began to spin. Busch's car actually went up and hugged the outside safer barrier, sparks flying everywhere. Trevor Bayne had absolutely nowhere to go, piled into the back of Kyle Busch's car and just drove him off the corner all the way back toward the tri-oval, and safety crews now attending to the situation.
20-year-old William Byron had led 12 laps tonight. Looked to have one of the fastest cars out there. Looks like he is done for the evening along with Kyle Busch. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. At Daytona International Speedway, we're at lap 65 of 160 that makes up the Coke Zero Sugar 400 in Stage 2. And again, a multi-car crash has happened down at the east end of the track.
All right, I want your opinion on this, Rusty, and I'll get it from you in a moment. I think it looked like Stenhouse got into Kyle. Then Kyle turned the race leader, William Byron. And before I get there, I just want to mention something. Kyle climbed out of his Toyota. It's used up. It's junk. Walked maybe 100 yards over to William Byron, who was climbing out of his Chevrolet. Waited for him to get to the door ledge, put his arm around him. They had a brief conversation, and then Kyle patted him on the back as to say, Rusty, I'm sorry. Here's what happened. It was unfortunate. A class move by Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There's no doubt about that. The 24 car of William Byron really wasn't involved in this particular incident. He just got caught off guard and bumped in the right rear quarter panel. What happened was when the 17 car, Ricky Stenhouse, went into turn 3, he just slid up the track. It looks like he lost the front end, and when he did that, he got Kyle Busch in the left rear quarter panel. Kyle Busch come down into William Byron, and then all heck broke loose behind those guys, and it was a melee again. But a racing thing, but the 17 car, Stenhouse just lost it, and that front end took off on that car.